Hi, how's it going? I'm Tyler Lanners, and today we're going to be talking about real estate investing. So just quick show of hands, who here has heard of real estate investing? All right, that's good. So who thinks it's only for rich people? And do any of you currently own any investment properties? No. Okay. Well, why not? Sure, sure. Yeah, after the crash in 2008, I could see that being a little scary. I know I saw one report that said that most millennials are renters right now. A lot of them aren't really even buying any houses or anything like that because they're scared and they saw what their parents went through and everything like that in the late 2000s. Um, but yeah, I mean, other than that, it could be intimidating, and there's definitely a high cost of entry to get into it. But hopefully, by the end of this presentation, you'll feel a little bit better about it. And so yeah, let's just take a quick look, and we'll see. Maybe real estate investing can do something for you. So the two metaphors that I really like really caught my attention when I heard them about real estate investing is one of them is the best investment on earth is earth, and I think that holds so true, mainly because rarely with anything else are you investing in something that's like solid. And so I feel like with real estate investing, you're investing in something solid, something brick and mortar. You can see it, you can actively fix it, do whatever you need to do for it. And the other metaphor for real estate investing is it definitely is a window of opportunity, and we'll get into that in a little bit here. So the best investment on earth is earth. I believe it was Theodore Roosevelt who said, "It can't be lost, it can't be stolen, it can't be carried away." You know, real estate is the only thing that you invest in it and you're going to physically have it in here. You could invest in cars or something like that, and there's maybe an off chance or something like that it's going to appreciate. But most times things like that are going to depreciate, which is usually the opposite with real estate, where you buy land and most likely it's gonna appreciate, depending on the neighborhood or wherever. But that's typically what happens. That's typically what people are looking for. You can't always bet on it, but that's one of the biggest things. And another point for this is buy land because they're not making any more of it. It is a finite resource, and we're gonna get into that. So it can't be lost or stolen. Um, Generally speaking, real estate is a lot safer to invest in than stocks, where stocks can be volatile, go up and down. People can, lose all their money, putting all their eggs in one basket or something like that. You really don't see that as much with real estate. Of course, it can happen. Real estate isn't like, something where you're not putting up any risk or anything like that. But generally, it is safer than stocks. And like I said earlier, you're holding your money in something real, something that you can touch. You can see, if you're investing in stocks and the company that you're investing in isn't doing too well, you're not going to show up at the next board meeting, telling them what to do and giving them pointers and stuff like that. But with real estate, you invest, you see, okay, I'm not getting any renters for my building or anything like that. Let's figure out a reason why. You can do some maintenance on it, do some repairs, some rehab, whatever you need to do, and you're able to play a more active role in it. And here we have a table for real estate versus stocks. So as you can see, we have the type of investments, and we have our real estate investments and our stock market investments. So I have pros and cons with both of these. The biggest points for real estate is one, you're going to be producing passive income, which I'll get into that a little bit more later. You have tax advantages. If you're living at a property, you could get like homeowners exemption, stuff like that. You can hedge against inflation, and you also have the ability to leverage. Some of the cons that go along with real estate, though, is there's definitely a lot more work involved with it than buying stocks. I actually work at a real estate closing company, and I could tell you there's sometimes things the process could go on for months and months. It is expensive, and the money that you put into it is not liquid at all. Any time you wanna, if you do need to pull money out of it or something like that, you're taking out a mortgage, which is a whole nother situation that you have to get into. Appreciation, what I was talking about earlier, it's not always guaranteed. Obviously that's what you're looking for. That's not always going to happen. And then of course the high transaction fees. And like I said, at my job, you can see, it costs usually about $5,000 or so at least, just with all the other fees, attorney fees, agent fees, all that kind of stuff. At least you're probably going to be spending $5,000 on that. But I've seen upwards of $20,000 in closing costs, including attorney fees and all that. So let's look at stock markets. Pros, it is highly liquid. You could take your money in and out of there pretty quickly. Especially nowadays too, is very accessible. Everyone can do it on apps, Robinhood, or mobile investment apps, whatever whatever you're doing. Also, it's easy to diversify. You can put your money in stocks, ETFs, cryptos, bonds, mutual funds, whatever. And it's easy, and just with different companies too. So it's a lot easier to not put all your eggs on one basket essentially. Low transaction fees. It may cost a couple cents or a dollar or whatever to place an order, whereas with real estate, it costs a couple $100,000 or however much the property is worth. And you do also have the possibility to make a lot of money off of relatively small investments. For example, just to throw an extreme case out there, Bitcoin. If you would have owned Bitcoin at back when it was only a few dollars, could have had a couple hundred shares of that, and or a couple of hundred coins, and then 5-10 years later you're a millionaire. So that's most likely going to happen with stocks, not necessarily the case with real estate, but there also are some cons of stocks too. So for one, as I was saying earlier, it's a lot more volatile than real estate. It can go up and down, and you could make a lot of money, but you could also lose a lot of money. So the volatility kind of works both ways. You're also, if you're selling off your stocks, you're also paying capital gain tax, which could kind of come to bite you in the butt later on. Some stocks can just move sideways for years. I'm sure anyone who's invested can attest to that. You put money in something, you're waiting for it to go up, or you put money in and it goes down a little bit, and then it's just going sideways the whole time, not moving up or down, which is just kind of frustrating. And then there is the potential for emotion-driven investing, which I'm sure anyone who's invested can also relate to. I know I can, and it almost never ends out well. So with buying land, they're not making any more of it. It is a finite resource, and there will always be a demand for land. People have to live somewhere. Businesses need land, farm, agriculture. There's so many avenues you could go with real estate, and there's always going to be a demand for it. And then just simply buying and holding property can make you money long term. I've seen so many cases of people who their grandparents bought a little 3-flat apartment building or something like that out in Wrigleyville. Back in the 70s or the 60s or something like that, back when it wasn't expensive at all. It was actually kind of a dinky neighborhood. And then maybe they bought that for around $100,000 or something like that. Fast forward to today, that property is worth upwards of $500,000, if not more. So there's always the potential for that. So then the next point I want to get into is the window of opportunity that real estate creates. It definitely allows you to let your money work for you instead of the other way around. As of right now, I would say most people, working 9 to 5, whatever your job may be, you're working for your money, and that's like the majority of the population. With real estate, you have the ability to let your money work for you and make you even more of it. So that's something incredible. And then also, most millionaires are made that way through real estate. Andrew Carnegie, he even said essentially that exact same thing, and he was one of the richest men in America. So letting your money work for you instead of the other way around. There is one quote that I really like. It goes, "Landlords grow rich in their sleep without working, risking, or economizing." And that is so true with rental properties or something like that. And this feeds into the second point. You know, you own the property. You're maybe paying some bills, mortgage, whatever it is that you have, all your costs. But all that extra money is going in your pocket each month, whether it be a couple $100s or a couple $1,000. That's all going to add up over time. So on this graph right here, we can see the passive income from rental properties. We got the net cash flow by month. On the y-axis here, we have the dollar amounts, with 0 being in the middle, going up to 8,000 and down to 10,000. And on the x-axis, we could see over time, just for this specific property, what you could kind of expect, if you were to go out and buy some investment properties of your own. So with that green bar there, what that green bar is representing is your income. So the income is going to be, the rent that you're charging, along with maybe you're renting out a parking space with it, or you're renting out or allowing people to use a laundry machine. You got like a coin laundry machine. So all that is going towards income. And then below that, we have our costs. So we have repairs and maintenance, taxes, utilities, mortgage, and loans. And as you can see, for the most part, consistently throughout this graph, besides in October 2018, looks like the mortgage is takes up the majority of your costs. We could see here the dotted line going across the graph is the net cash flow pro forma, which is what you're expecting to make right around after fees and all that, what you're expecting to cash flow. And what cash flow is, just so I could make sure we're all clear on that, is basically all the money that you're making after expenses. So we could also see in October 2018, he has a big bar there for repairs and maintenance. That's usually going to be the biggest thing. If you own a building or something like that and you have to replace the roof or the boiler or something like that, it could cost you a couple $1,000s. And one other thing is, if you notice in November 2018, the income dropped severely, compared to all the other months. What that could be a reason of is because if you say, a lease is up with the tenant, or you had to evict a tenant or something like that, now you have to find another tenant. Otherwise, you're losing money. So that's also a risk that goes into it. All right, so most millennials are made that way through real estate. On this slide, I have two very common strategies that people get rich off of. The BRRRR strategy, which is listed first, is the one that is probably the most successful and the one that makes people the most money. That's one that you see with big time investors and stuff like that. Anyone who's like a millionaire off of real estate has most likely gotten there through this strategy. And so what BRRRR stands for is buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. So basically, just to break it down, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. But you buy the property, you're going to rehab it. By rehabbing it, you're also increasing your equity in the property. You're making it worth more. And then you're going to rent it out. Also, because you rehabbed it, your rents are going to be able to be a little bit higher. So that's always a plus, because that's going to equal more cash flow for you. So after you're renting it, you got some equity in it, you're going to do a refinance on it. And, that might seem a little crazy, because now you're thinking, all right, well, why am I refinancing on a property I just bought? Well, the reason why you're doing it is because you're cashing out. You're taking out all the money that the property is worth now, and now you can go and you repeat. You can go and use that money to go buy another property. And I mean, that's a process that could be never ending. As long as you have common sense, you're going through it, you're looking at all the numbers and everything, you're not making hasty decisions. This strategy can, make you extremely wealthy. And the second strategy, probably the most popular among, just common everyday folk, is house flipping. You see it on, the HGTV and, on TV and stuff like that. House flipping can be great. That there are a little bit more risks that go into it, but I mean, essentially, you could buy a rinky-dink house, put a couple $1,000s on it, slap a new coat of paint on the wall, and sell that and make yourself $20,000-$30,000. honestly the possibilities are endless with that. Um, but I mean, I hope you could kind of see this, that contrary to popular belief, real estate investing is not only for the rich, but it is how a lot of people become rich. And the reason why I say that is because you don't need, people may think you need a lot of money to get started into it, and that could be the case. But as long as you have 20% of of a down payment for whatever property you're buying, you're looking good. You're making money, and even if that could be hard to come by, you also have other ways to go about it. Do some networking, get some other investors for the property. Do like a private loan, something like that. There's a lot of different opportunities. All right, so I hope you guys learned some stuff today about real estate investing. We know that it's you're investing in something solid, brick and mortar. It can be a little bit safer than investing in stocks. It's definitely better long term. And the biggest thing and the best thing, honestly, is you let your money work for you rather than you working for your money. Because I don't know anybody who would love to work a 9 to 5, all day. I think everybody would like to retire by 35 and go live your life and stuff like that. But not a lot of people know about real estate investing and the ins and outs of it. So I hope this kind of helped you out with it. But other than that, quick little tidbit: loan interest rates are at an all-time low right now, about 3% average. And the market is hot, so get out there and start looking. You might just get rich. All right, thank you. Bye.